Hi, fourth grade families. I want to take a second and just talk about the way that we're teaching division in fourth grade. We've been doing it for about 1 week. A lot of students are catching on and they're able to be really successful. There are other students who are starting to get it and just need a little bit of support. And there are others who are really struggling. So I wanted to show this video. They are not learning it using the traditional algorithm like you and I probably learned when we were in school. We're using a strategy that's called the Big 7 strategy. And the reason why we're calling it the Big 7 is because when we set up this problem, we set it up the traditional way that we learned, 783 divided by 3. We call it the Big 7 because we extend a line down to make this look like a 7. This is really just a way for students to organize their work. Okay, ultimately, we would like students to be able to do this without pictures. However, for some students, I have been encouraging them to draw a picture to really help them to understand and keep track of what they're doing. And so what that picture is we're dividing this big number, and we talk about it in terms of pieces of candy, cookies, rocks, whatever they want to think of. But whatever it is, they have 783 of those things. And they're going to divide those up into 3 groups. So we draw 3 circles to represent that. Because in 3rd grade, when they learned division and the number they were dividing was much smaller, let's say it was 12, for example, they learned to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then they could easily see, 12 divided by 3 is 4 in each group. Okay, but now we can no longer do that when the number we're dividing is so big. And so what this method is encouraging kids to do is to do that same thing, but just give bigger numbers at a time, not one at a time. But for example, we know, for example, that 3 times 100 is 300. So they could start out and say, okay, I'm going to give each of these groups 100, and in total, that's 300 that I've just given away. And how we would show that using the Big 7 is we would write that 100 here, okay, to record how many are going into each group, and then do 100 times 3. And that picture shows that 103 times is 300. So if we've already given 300 away, we need to find out how many we have left to divide up. So we subtract. And now we know we have 483 left. Oh, that's bigger than 300, so I might as well give 100 again. So I'm going to give each group 100 more. We already know that that's 300. So now I have to subtract that 300. Now, here's what I'm encouraging them to do. And some of them have the number sense to do this and others don't, and that's okay. It's okay to do 100 and 100. But if students knew right off the bat, I could give 200 right away, 200, 400, 600, then they could have subtracted 600 right away. And we call that just being more efficient. How can you solve the problem quicker? Okay, but again, you don't have to do 200. If 100 works, that's fine. It also, the more steps you do, the more room for error. So I encourage them to come up with the biggest number to start, but that's okay. They don't have to either. So now we have 183 left to divide up. So now I'm thinking, okay, I can't give another 100 because that was 300 and I only have 183 left. But what if I gave them all 50? So again, 50, 50, 50. 50 times 3 is 150. So I just gave 150 more. I need to subtract that from my total. And now I only have 33 left. We talk about friendly facts. Most of them know 3 times 10 is 30. So they would know then that their next step should be to give them all 10 more. 10, 10, 10. 10 times 3 is 30. And we subtract, and we have 3 left. Oh, I can can give them all one more. 1, 1, 1. That's 3. And in this one, it came out that we had 0 left, so that means there's no remainder. If we subtracted and this number was smaller than the number we're dividing by, so in this case, if it was a 1 or a 2, we know we stop, and that's the remainder. Okay, now to find the answer to this, we have to just figure out, well, how many did we give each of these groups? And again, if you drew it in the picture, right, 100, 100, 50, 10, and 1, we want to get away from the picture, and that's why we record it here too. But if the picture works for them, that's fine. So we would say 100 plus 100 is 200, 250, 260, 261 with no remainder is our answer. I hope that helped. If over this 4-day weekend, you guys could encourage them to practice a few and show you and talk through all of the steps, that will greatly help them going into next week. We're going to continue doing long division. We're going to move on to having a 4-digit dividend or number that we're dividing. And then we're going to move into word problems. So they'll need to have a solid understanding of long division before we do that. Thank you for your support. Let me know if you have any questions.